Uh, Good afternoon, friends from Faculty of Health Sciences. My name is Naftal. I'm very happy to be sharing this to you this night, although you're going to see this during the daytime. So I did biomedical science and technology from Laikipia University, which is just your neighboring university. And I want to share my story in God's story. So allow me to share it briefly um, as a way of making it easier for you to see that we are all in the same thing. So well, uh, I did this in 2017. That's when I graduated, and I currently work with Life Ministry Kenya, which is a Christian organization in our country, Kenya. And so um, I want to share with you three things. One, I'll be sharing with you about my calling to ministry and my background. How did it start? How did I change from what I am to what I was, what I started to what I'm doing, and how passionate I am about what I'm doing. Secondly, I'm going to share about my convictions and my fears during those times, and then what followed next. And then thirdly, I'm going to share my experience and my desire for all of you as you also involved in various points. So I hope you're going to enjoy this small presentation. Well, so let me share my calling. I'll base it in three areas. I'll start from, I've called this a sovereign foundation, start from childhood to how this happened. So when I was a young person, before receiving Christ, I had that desire of sharing the gospel. So I was so interested, and I wanted to see people hearing more about Christ. I didn't have much of the details how I would do this. When I was in class five, I decided to be a person working in the bank. When I was in class seven and class eight, I decided to be a nurse or a doctor. I wanted to be that person who could deal with sick people. I remember sewing myself in my leg when I had a cut. So I sewed myself using a thorn, and that was not a good thing. But as a child, I wanted to be a doctor, so that was the things I wanted to do. But God was preparing me for something great. He was helping me to share the gospel to people in primary school in PPI, but as well, He was helping me to see my desire to do ministry in health. So I wanted to serve people. As time went on, when I got to university, I got an interaction with Focus Kenya. You know Focus Kenya. So I got an exposure and I was sent to Samburu, some places called Mosul. And it's that point where I met people who did not know health practices. They could not even wash their hands before eating. Whenever they could get sick, they could go to the local healers and they wanted to get someone who could treat them. And they didn't have anyone who could work on their health. And unfortunately, they also did not know the gospel. So I stayed with them for 3 weeks, and after 3 weeks, I came back to Nairobi. But my desire for them was still great. Deciding that if they could even have a clinic in their village, if actually they could have even one nurse who could help them, one clinical officer who could listen to them and even identify their cases. I needed to get someone in their midst, but there was no one. There was no clinic. They had only one vehicle that could take them to Nanyuki where they could access the medical services. So that was so painful to me. And I thought since I was in university, doing biomedical science, I could go to the place and assess the needs and the health needs. The things continued on. I could see the needs that were there in the medical personnel, and I saw how everyone in the medical field could finish and go to the marketplace directly without deciding when to work for 1 year to see the needs of the people, how they can be addressed. So I needed to change the narrative, but there was a problem somewhere which I will share. My problem was the fears that I had. My greatest fear was now that parents have invested in me, they have given everything that they had so that their son could be in school. Now, when you go back to the community, how are you going to get paid? How are you going to live your lifestyle? How would that look like? So I wanted to be that person in the field, but my fears were how would I get my things applied? But yet when a friend of mine, one person convicted me by helping me hear what the Lord was saying. He read to me for me the book of Jeremiah, which I'm opening right now. He read for me the book of Jeremiah. chapter 17. And so in verse 5, Paul imekataa kujifungua haraka. In verse 5, this verse says, this is what the Lord says. Cursed is the one who trusts in man, who draws strength from mere flesh, and whose heart turns away from the Lord. That person will be like a bush in the wasteland. They will not see prosperity when it comes. They will dwell in the parched places of the desert, in the salt land where no one lives. I feel like so my trust was in men. My family was probably trusting in me. Maybe my family was making me like a small Jesus. They wanted me to be their only savior. But that's not what God wanted me to be. That's not what God wanted my family to look like. And so I realized that when I was trusting man, I was draining myself away and I was directly opposing God. So I wanted to go out and trust God. As the Bible says that it's good to trust God with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. So I went out trusting God for that very thing. Sorry, niko naoma, that's why you can hear my voice coming like that. So that's my calling was made clear that I needed to trust God and needed to move out and serve Him. And so therefore, I joined ICE of Africa in the same year, 2017, worked in Moyale. And in 2018 and 2019, I was working in Uganda and now using my profession. And this is what I was able to do. I was sent to a community in Busia region. So among the activities that I did was community outreaches, community gospel, and other things. So when I landed in the community, I did uh, a survey, which helped me to realize that the community was actually susceptible to hepatitis B. Most people were exposed to this because when women inheritance and things like this of culture will happen in a community, how this happens. HIV/AIDS, hepatitis B, and malaria were the things of concern. So I knew malaria was something that we could work with. Pre, uh, Dealing with issues of HPV was there, but also hepatitis was there. So we needed to see what we could do. So when I assessed the thing, I realized that most people were having a lot of fears about hepatitis B, and two people had already died in the same village where I was living. And so I mobilized the community and started doing the medical outreaches. And as you see in this picture here, this is me working with some other medics using the local community classroom and medical outreach that we had arranged. And so here I was now checking the samples for hepatitis B. And this was one of the guys who I was working with, and among the other nurses who were there. So sorry, I wasn't in my lab coat because I didn't work here for the whole day. I knew I was going to leave here and go out to arrange the people. And you can see I could do both things. So when you see this other side, this one here, I was now preparing the people, telling them, giving a health talk about what they should expect, how we are going to plan the event, and how the things are going to look like. When you look in this lower side, here you are able to see this is me, and this is a Muslim who was translating for me. I was now here sharing the gospel. After giving them the health talk, I could also share the gospel. So this is one of the amazing things that I could do. I was so happy and encouraged that even a Muslim could translate for me, and I could help him to hear the gospel and to understand what it meant to know Christ. And now, this by the end of the time when I was there, I was able to reach a good number of people. I was able to reach up to 1023 people with the gospel. Amazing, And these 1023 people are the people that I could be able to count, the people that I was able to reach out to in the community with a vaccination, with a testing of hepatitis B vaccination, and also helping them to know more about Christ. I was also able to do some health talks in the villages, in 7 villages, in 6 schools, helping the students to know more about Christ. One thing that I would tell you, if you are there and you feel like you need to work with some organizations, Medical Missions Africa is one of the organizations that you can work with. I've worked with them. I've gone to various regions. I've seen them going to Mariakani, going to some regions in northern Kenya where you really you need to. Even if you go out for 1 year, even if you go out for 6 months, even if you volunteer for some events that really do happen, that will be nice. There is nothing that you can do in the gospel and feel like you have lost it. There's nothing that you can do in the kingdom and discounted as lost. My encouragement to you is that you can go on, you can sign up today, you can join, and you are much welcome. I've ever felt happy, and that's why I've decided to do this for full time as a missionary, serving Christ everywhere, making everyone know someone who truly follows Christ. Welcome on board. Come and join us, and the Lord will never disappoint you. He is not a user who does not reward. He will reward you here in this world and the life to come. Karibuni. Thank you. My name is Naftal Katumbo. And yes, if you'd love to have some questions, you can interact with Francis. He can share with you my phone number. We can talk more. I know you have fears, you have worries. That should not hinder you. We are here. We have managed to work for 4 years. Others have done for 10 years, 20 years. It's never disappointing. It's so encouraging. And so you're welcome. Come on board. Karibuni. Bye.